Hey there, Joe Lunchbox. And today we have landed right here in the Wisconsin Dells. Now we have a little museum, some learning in store for you. Don't worry, my name is Lunchbox. Of course, it is food related. Joy, I have a question. If you were to be a pirate, what would your pirate name be?
That is a good question. I don't know. What would yours be?
I'll let you know. I dressed with my pirate shirt on today because if I was a pirate, my name would be Root Beard. There's been Blackbeard, there's been Redbeard. I'm Root Beard because I love root beer. And that will be the theme of today because they have a museum of root beer. One of the greatest sodas in the world. As a little kid, I remember my uncle drinking beer and I would drink root beer and I thought I was cool like my uncle. It's always been important to me. Root beer floats, such a great treat. We are going to bring you along as we check this out. So hopefully you like that kind of thing. If you do, you should like this video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, greatly appreciate if you would. We have over 500 videos. Comment down below. What is your second favorite soda flavor? Because we know root beer is number one. But it's time to do this. Step right up. Let's go for this ride. We enter a store, but then there is a museum entrance. Oh yeah. We start with the piano. It has a lot of literature on root beer. Like, I never knew there was a Charles Schultz. A flying ace needs lots of root beer. Root beer is everywhere. Did you know in the game Tapper it was actually root beer we were serving? See him popping them open for them? It's going through all different media, Caddyshack 2 root beer references, all of them. There are tons and tons of root beers now. But you have to remember, everything had to get a start. We're going to talk about Hires Root Beer. We're going to talk about, because I'm going to read you the sign. Hires Root Beer, the granddaddy of brands. With a history like Hires Root Beer has, there's a fountain of memorabilia to revel in. Created in 1876 by Charles E. Hires, the iconic flavor includes caramel, birch, sassafras, licorice, vanilla, spikenard, sarsaparilla, hops, wintergreen, tipsiwa, and ginger. Hires first sold 25-cent packets of powder that yielded 5 gallons of homebrewed root beer. He then sold this recipe as a liquid extract, as a syrup for use in soda fountains, in giant keg dispensers of ready-to-drink root beer, in glass soda bottles, and finally in cans. And we have some of the cans, and these might not have been that long ago, but we do have some of the syrups sold to the soda fountain shops to make fresh Hires root beer. And of course, when there's a great product comes great merch. From mugs to mini train cars to banks looking like a root beer keg. Now, there are two things you need to sell a great product, right?
Flavor.
A good taste, yeah. And the second is good marketing. Do you know what makes for great marketing to catch people's eyes?
Fun mascots.
You're right, fun mascots. We have a wall of mascots used to advertise root beers. Joy's gonna go to that wall and point out all the ones she knows.
Oh, I know this guy.
Who's that guy?
The Sprusher Crow.
Okay. Who else do you know?
Over there, A&W Bear.
Oh, you know the A&W Bear. Okay. And if you didn't know any others, but you wanted to know, we do have a cheat sheet so you can see who was used to advertise which root beers. I am an A&W or a Mugman, but I'll never pass up a good Frosty's root beer. That's this little guy right here. The following display the museum talks about is the flavor of a root beer. How things other than the soda now are made with that great flavor. Hey hon, what do you have in the shopping cart? I got some root beer flavored items for my hubby. Really? Does he love it that much? He really does love root beer. Now, we have some root beer peeps Root beer Chips Ahoy. Espresso root beer caramel corn. But I don't think the next item I should eat or drink. Root beer scented shampoo. Everyone used to have root beer barrels. I never had root beer Kool-Aid. I would like to try it though. Johnny Pops and A&W popsicles.
Boy, I can really go for some more root beer.
More products like root beer flavored ice creams.
I remember these.
What about this? Dad's old fashioned root beer flavored milk. Hey kids, I have a great way for my kids to drink milk when they don't want to. We'll make it taste like root beer. Barks floats. Barks floats. Wow.
I've had those.
You are a Barks floats. Because you're a dog, but you're not advertising Barks. Besides the bottles, they have the syrups. And here we have a root beer syrup that's shaped like an elephant. And even old Honest Abe there is selling some root beer. I need to get me a keg of root beer. We have just entered. I'm going to pan around after we finish looking at some of these cool kegs of something I dream of having. I collect bottles and cans. A lot of them start with early root beers. Joy, do you know the root beer bottle that started the collection of root beer bottles that formed me?
Oh yeah. It was from one of the walkthroughs that we had gone to. They actually had like their own root beer.
In Salem, Massachusetts.
What was it?
One was a Frankenstein maze, and I forgot the other was a Boris Karloff maze.
Yes.
And Boris Karloff maze had their own root beer. They both did, and we got those. And those bottles started my collection of root beer bottle collection. My bottle collection is nowhere near this, and nowhere near displayed as nice as this, or as old as this. I don't have those pop tops. Ooh, Fitz, which is a St. Louis soda company. We've been there once, but we didn't get the Gateway Arch root beer to celebrate St. Louis. And why don't they sell Donald Duck root beer at Disney anymore? I want Donald Duck root beer. Bottles everywhere, yet not a drop to drink. Yet, that is. When we go out, there's a tasting area. We were going to do flights of root beer. Found my favorite cans in the museum. The Sunday Funnies root beers. Hager, Blondie, Popeye, and Beetle Bailey. And with my root beer bottle collection, I wish I could just collect so many, but the thing that I'm doing is I have to have drank that bottle of root beer. Now I'm collecting every soda, every beer. It's got a little chaotic. One day my whole basement walls are going to look like that. It really is a mystery how I haven't got there and tried the root beer from the brewery itself. Imagine if you could go to a store and still get root beer made in a nice ceramic jug. Joy's looking at the root beer book because something stumped me. Yeah, some of the older bottles. I personally don't know what came in the root beer cones. Ooh, root beer syrup dispensers. And then you, of course, have to have a nice cold frosty mug to enjoy that root beer in. It's not a joke how much someone loves root beer. And it really isn't to have collected this much to make this museum. It's pretty amazing. And so many mugs. Like I was saying about marketing and advertising, you want one that really stands out, that really pops. I think this is the mug. I feel like Indiana Jones in the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is the right mug. You have chose wisely. Oh, so many different dispensers. Mugs. Did you know there was this much knowledge about root beer? So Joy found out mug cups, coated wax cones. So you were just kids who I guess would get root beer, and that's how it came, almost like a milk jug. Welch's, not just grape soda anymore. Welch's root beer. Put that root beer in my hand, yo me, yo. My jungle love. Oh, yo.
That's so cute.
2004 N-scale convention. There's a little tiny train car and the root beer that went with it.
It looks like a pin.
And a pin too.
Yeah.
A pin to boot. I need to learn how to make these little root beer planes. All those cans I recycle goes to such waste. I should make little vehicles. We get to watch root beer commercials, then vote for our favorite commercial. Surrounded by root beer clocks. I feel like I'm in a theater watching these commercials. I wish I had some popcorn. Nay, a root beer. Oh yeah. We need a bark with bite. I'm about to join the fun. I get to scan, and then I get to vote for best jingle. We're gonna go for Let's All Go to A&W. Best catchphrase. You know, Barks is one of my least favorite root beers. Barks' Bite is a good catchphrase. Worst catchphrase. Have you had it lately? Stop and pop a fire. It has to be Shasta. Best special effects. Magic opening and closing door. Overall best.
Street Vendor series.
I think we have to go Street Vendor series. Making up the shape of Snoopy's doghouse in Peanuts. We're learning that Snoopy himself loved root beer. We have all these comic strips featuring Snoopy drinking root beer. In all of them but two does it say root beer. Two of them it's inferred that what he's drinking, of course, is root beer. It never fails. 3 root beers and Woodstock falls sound asleep. Hot root beer. Who wants hot root beer? I once drank hot Dr. Pepper at the Dr. Pepper Museum in Waco, and they must have microwaved it because it tasted like 1,000,000 degrees, and I burnt my mouth. If you want to get a laugh, go watch the video of me burning my mouth on hot Dr. Pepper. It probably, I think, is one of our 4th or 5th videos, really early in the channel. We'll put a link to that down below. Don't mind. I always do my Saving Private Ryan Academy Award-winning cinematography style. I'm always moving with my camera. I know some of you complain, but that video, I didn't know anything about standing still back then. Joy found one where it doesn't actually say the words root beer. Joy found the other one where it just infers root beer and doesn't say it. It's crazy. There have been over 3,000 brands of root beer. That's a lot of root beer. And you might be in, what's in root beer? They have a wall of ingredients to take a look and share with you what's in your root beer. From yucca root, sarsaparilla root, ginger, hops, well, of course, some sugar. Ooh, wintergreen oil, sassafras root, honey, wild cherry bark, high fructose corn syrup, birch bark, caramel, yellow dock root, star anise, licorice root, vanilla bean, that powder I can't pronounce, nutmeg, burdock root, cinnamon, and yeast. Got some more harder style root beer, some root beer schnapps and hard alcoholic root beers. Root beer is a flavor loved all over, especially more by United States and Canada. Now, I grew up drinking A&W. It's what I always drank as a kid. All the family would get. A&W has been around since 1919, and we have a section dedicated just to A&W root beer. Sometimes I see stuff I have at home. This A&W mug with all the Peanuts character, we have that at home. I feel like I'm a kid back in a magic shop. We have a rotating display case. And right here, being a Boy Scout, this one's for me. Greater Yosemite Council, BSA, birthplace of A&W root beer from the 2005 National Jamboree. That is some Boy Scout council patch. Some hats from like old drive-thrus to all the bottle caps. Do you know what time it is? It's time for root beer. Has such amazing merch. I'm not a coal man, so I like older than Coke, enjoy root beer t-shirt. Than just the regular Museum of Root Beer Wisconsin Dells with their logo. And if you love root beer as much as I do, they have a lot of bottles you could take home with you. And since we are in the Dells, you can't go wrong with some Wisconsin Dells root beer. So we're now sitting at the bar. We're about to try 4 root beers. We're each getting a flight.
Your flights today start at the Minhas Brewery in Monroe, Wisconsin. Now this brewery started in 1845, and today it is one of the oldest continuously operating breweries in the country. Number 2, as a matter of fact. Now their root beer is an older flavor. I think it's not as sweet. He says it is sweeter, but you know, it's to everybody's taste. Now this is a very licoricey root beer, the Bloomer's root beer. It's a very old recipe. It's been around for a long time. Then we move up to the Baumeister Brewery in Green Bay area. Now this one here, more of a modern day root beer. They start coming in with the creaminess in the root beer. And this is one of the first root beers that added mint as a secondary flavor. Then we go to the Gray Family Brewery out of Janesville. Now this is another older brewery, started in 1856. Now this one here is one of the oldest continuously operating ones in the Midwest, of course behind these guys. But 11 years difference. There's so many breweries that started here that are still working. It doesn't even hit 50 on the national list. Then we go to the Stevens Point Brewery in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Now this is your modern day creamy, vanilla, heavy vanilla root beer. But this company, this root beer is similar to 1919, similar to A&W. A lot of the Prohibition era root beers that started in 1919. Now this one here uses some of the different ingredients that are on that wall back there, so it doesn't taste like the rest of them. And 1919 doesn't taste completely like A&W and so forth. And coincidentally, if you didn't know, A&W was a druggist's cough syrup medicine recipe. So you're going to start with the one at the handle, and work your way across. Then you're going to find out just what these brewmasters do with that wall of ingredients we got back there. These root beers are fantastic.
So this is actually really nice. You can taste the licorice in this. Joe finished his.
Yeah, that's why Joy's reviewing it. The licorice is an undertone flavor. It's not like punch in the face licorice.
Okay, so
but you do taste it.
You do taste it, and here's the thing: like, as far as the black licorice, it's not one of my favorite jelly bean type of things. So that's why, like, he might have it as an undertone, but it's because of that. Like, I know it's in there.
I like
but
black
licorice.
licorice.
It's good.
I'm excited for the second one because you said it has a secondary flavor of mint, and I'm a fan of when birch beers have a mint flavor. Alright, this is the one with the mint.
It is the second oldest continuously operating root beer. Is a very old flavor.
It's so smooth. The mint actually like bounces out and flows the flavor off your palate. It's not like a punch at the end. It just is this beautiful. It like floats away like a cloud. That flavor.
Then we go.
Trying the third one.
So, you can start with the one at the handle. All of the ingredients back there.
It's very light and creamy.
You said this one is one of the older recipes too.
Welcome to the Museum of Root Beer. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
It's really nice, though.
Light and creamy.
Light and creamy, very refreshing. Not any particular one flavor that just basically is gonna slam it in your face. Like, it's really nice and refreshing.
I've already had 2. I'm excited for light and refreshing. I don't think any of them taste like medicine, and I don't know how anyone does not like root beer. It's amazing how smooth it is. It literally just tastes like something that's more refreshing than soda-y, even though it definitely has a root beer flavor. Yeah, it's amazingly delicious. Smells
I
good.
enjoy when I have that Vita on the tap. I tell people, I said, look.
It is a little more vanilla-y, and it's like it like loops up at the end, that high point.
It is. It's hard to describe.
But you feel like the flavor of the root beer tingling on your tongue. It's a good flavor. We've come. We sampled. We left with a 4-pack and a t-shirt. the Museum of Root Beer. I really do love root beer. My power name really would be Root Beard. I had a great time. Hopefully you enjoyed coming along with that. Did you enjoy it, Joy?
I did. It was crazy, like looking at all the different ones. I wonder if like the guy said there was 2 owners that were collecting for like about 80 years. I wonder if like at home they had definitely more that we're not seeing.
Or is this their whole collection? They
Or is
needed a
this
spot to
their-
put it and they moved it
yeah.
here. I like a museum that you also learn slang. It's the novelty of drinking root beer, of course. But I didn't know that a lot of the root beer started in 1919 because of Prohibition, and they continue to this day, which is an interesting fact.
Whereas it was crazy because 2 of the ones that we sampled were back in the 1800s.
And also how they tamed down root beer over the years
Yeah.
because you didn't want it to overshadow your foods. I enjoyed it. I actually think we could call this one though, Joy.
I think so.
The Root Beer Museum. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels
Good eats.
and live life.
A lot of stuff there. You're gonna start off by seeing the piano.